Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Think and grow rich. There comes a moment in every life when a man must decide who he is, not by circumstance, not by the labels the world has placed upon him, but by the fire he chooses to carry within. Poverty and wealth are not measured in coins and bills, but in the invisible forces that move the mind. For the greatest truth of all is this: riches begin not in the hand, but in the head. History does not remember those who merely survived. It remembers those who bent reality to their vision, those who declared with unwavering certainty, "This world will yield to me what I demand of it." Andrew Carnegie began with nothing, no privilege, no silver spoon, no safety net. A poor immigrant boy selling scraps of food for pennies, yet he saw himself not as a victim of his time, but as the architect of his destiny. His riches began the day his vision expanded beyond survival and grew into empire. And you right now, you hold within you the same power. The difference between a man who struggles in silence and a man who builds an empire is not luck, not birthright, not chance, it is mindset. The rich man does not wait for opportunities, he fashions them with the hammer of belief and the chisel of persistence. The poor man, even when standing before a door of gold, may walk past it because his mind was too blind to recognize the treasure. So the question before you is not whether you are capable, it is whether you will dare to think at the level where riches are born. Great wealth is not an accident. It is a deliberate creation, first imagined in silence, then pursued with discipline, and finally made tangible through relentless action. Edison, before he brought the light bulb into the world, endured 1,000 failed experiments. To most men, failure is a tombstone. To Edison, each failure was a stepping stone carved by destiny. That is the mindset that makes men rich, the refusal to interpret temporary defeat as final. Listen carefully, your thoughts are seeds. Every day, whether you know it or not, you are planting a garden in your subconscious mind. If you sow doubt, you will reap limitation. If you sow courage, you will harvest abundance. The soil of the mind never rests, it will return to you whatever you dare to plant. That is why every empire, every fortune, every revolution in history began as an idea in the solitude of one determined mind. Look at Henry Ford. The world laughed at his dream of creating a motor car for the average man. Experts declared it impossible. Bankers turned their backs. His own engineers threatened to quit when his vision seemed too stubborn to be real. But Ford refused to entertain the thought of defeat. He held his idea with such conviction that reality itself had no choice but to bend. The result? He didn't just build cars. He built an industry. He built wealth so vast that his name became eternal. Now, understand this: the riches of Ford, Carnegie, Edison, Disney, and countless others were not first measured in dollars. They were first measured in the strength of their mental picture, the clarity of their desire. Money was merely the shadow that followed their burning vision. You, too, must begin with desire so fierce it consumes doubt, so vivid it lives in your imagination as though it already exists. Napoleon Hill once declared that desire, backed by faith, is the starting point of all achievement. Not talent. Not luck. Not connections. Desire, fused with belief, is the nucleus from which fortunes explode. But here is the secret most never grasp: belief is not passive. It is not wishful thinking or fragile hope. Belief is forged in discipline, tested in the furnace of adversity, and strengthened by consistent action. The rich mindset demands you act as though the outcome were certain even when the world offers no evidence but your own conviction. Think of Walt Disney. Fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. Bankrupted more than once. Rejected by financiers who saw no future in cartoons. Yet within him lived a world no one else could see: castles, kingdoms, stories that would outlive generations. He held on to that vision when everything external mocked him, and because he refused to surrender his imagination, the world now calls his name with awe. This is the power of clarity, to see what others cannot, to hold fast when others let go, and to march forward when the path seems blocked. But clarity alone is not enough. For what good is vision if the body and spirit remain undisciplined? Wealth bows not to the dreamer who wishes, but to the warrior who disciplines himself. Discipline is the bridge between thought and reality, between potential and manifestation. Every man who became rich mastered himself before he mastered the market. Consider Abraham Lincoln, not a titan of industry, but a giant of character. He rose from obscurity, from poverty, from repeated failures in politics, to carve his name into history. He disciplined his mind to endure ridicule, his emotions to withstand heartbreak, his spirit to weather defeat. That same discipline, applied to the pursuit of wealth, transforms vision into fortune. And let us speak of purpose, for riches without purpose are sand slipping through the fingers. Many have gathered wealth, only to watch it destroy them, because they forgot that true riches serve something greater than vanity. Purpose is the compass that keeps fortune from becoming a curse. Carnegie once said that the man who dies rich dies in disgrace. He understood that wealth without contribution is poverty in disguise. And so he poured his fortune into libraries, schools, foundations, seeding future generations with the opportunity to rise. That is the kind of purpose that sustains both the man and his wealth. Your mind is the battlefield. The enemy is not poverty, not competition, not scarcity. The enemy is the smallness of thought, the whisper of doubt, the paralysis of fear. To think richly is to wage war against these enemies every day, to replace them with certainty, vision, faith, and relentless pursuit. If you wish to know why men remain poor, it is not because the world has denied them, it is because they have denied themselves. They have accepted chains of thought that bind them tighter than iron shackles. They believe the lie that they are powerless, and so they live powerless. But the truth is this: the man who masters his mind has already mastered his destiny. Riches are simply the evidence of his mastery. The time has come for you to stop asking, "Can I?" and to declare, "I will." For the universe does not answer questions of weakness, it responds only to commands of conviction.